Welcome to episode 13 of Last Stitch Effort. This is my podcast about using up my stash and not adding more to it, and thankfully that's what I did this week. Anyway, my name is Pacasha. Today is December 7th, and what else? Let's just get right to it. I usually start with what I'm wearing, and today I'll stand up. This is always awkward when I do this, I'm sorry. But this is a Hinterland dress that I made. I know it's hard to see. This is like the most awkward shot ever, but yeah, so Hinterland. And this is a hat cowl by Gudrun Johnston. And I made it to match this dress exactly. So, but I haven't worn them together yet until today. So, you're welcome, or thank you, or something. Anyway, and I've got some hand knit socks on too, but they're just plain vanilla, and they're from a colorway that I used to dye when I used to dye yarn and sell it on Etsy. Anyway, it's just like a teal color and very plain. Okay, I always forget to do this, and I always mean to, and sometimes I put it in the notes below, but the whole point of this podcast is to document using up my stash, especially like leftovers in particular. My finished object this week was not using leftovers, but that's okay because I still have lots of yarn to use that is not leftover, you can see. So anyway, so I took a stash reading, I don't know, in the middle of November. My starting stash was at 42,726 meters. No, grams. There's a difference. And then I had to adjust a few things, and I finished a few things, but most recently finishing my project, which you'll see in a bit, I am down, this doesn't sound like I'm down by much, 42,554 grams. That's because I had to add 500 grams with sock leftovers that I hadn't recorded before. So it doesn't seem like I really did much, but the mittens that I finished were only 55 grams. They took like 2 months to knit. They took forever to knit. So that's kind of scary how long some of these like finer yarns take, and most of my stash is fingering weight or lace weight yarn. So I might be here for a while. Anyway, and you know, I finished the mucklucks too, which I talked about in the last episode, and that finished off 500 grams. So that kind of negated the sock yarn stuff I added, but still not a huge difference. But we are going down and we're not adding, and that's what counts, right? And eventually those numbers will start to move. It's kind of like when you're paying off your mortgage, like it's just interest for a while until you get things sorted out. Anyway, so those are some numbers, just so you know. Oh, and I still have the same number of entries in Ravelry, which I believe is 270, because I haven't actually finished any yarns yet. But I've got a lot of small amounts, like little balls of palette that I have recorded in there that I could probably whip out in a project or two. I just haven't had the time to do that right now. But I think I have one more gift knit to start and finish before the holidays. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, so FOs. As you can probably gather by what I've been talking about, I did finish my Druid mittens. They're also called Green Autumn. 2 names, I don't know. Jared Flood was the designer, and I've been wanting to make these for a long time. This is Jamieson and Smith. I forgot the colorway name. I used 55 grams, so that was 2 and then some balls of yarn. So they're done. Oh, they have a hair on them. Everything has a hair on them. But it's kind of hard to see the ring light. Oh, look, see, you can kind of see the texture when there's a bit of shadow, when it's not full on light. Oh, they're so pretty, aren't they? And whatever, the palms of the hand have like this texture that I'm pretty sure I didn't do right, but whatever. And then you kind of do like a weird, I think they called it a saddle, I don't remember, but it's like another, like, I don't know, but you can kind of like, it didn't block out perfectly that when I seamed them, did a 3-needle bind off and seamed it together. But I think with wear and maybe a couple more washes, maybe even one more wash, okay, maybe I'll wear them all winter and I'll wash them, and then in April they'll be perfect. That's the plan. Okay, and if not, doesn't matter, they're freaking awesome. I mean, those baubles, ugh, I do not like doing baubles or noops, whatever in Latvian. Don't like doing that. I like the cables. I didn't like doing the cables at this gauge, or this tension, I should say, because it really was quite tight for me to knit with little tiny wooden needles. It was kind of scary at times because they're my favorite needles. But anyway, size zeros. So they're done. And I'm pretty proud of them. I think they're gorgeous and I can't wait to wear them. It's been really hot. Not hot, but not cold. So I haven't really worn a whole lot of knits. I am today though, especially around my neck. Oh, I got my COVID and flu vaccinations this weekend. I have a really strong reaction to the COVID one. It's better than having COVID, or that's what I keep telling myself. But all day yesterday, I slept all day. My cats loved it. I did not. It was horrible, and I'm exhausted still. And my lymph nodes, especially, like, oh god, my lymph nodes are killing me. So yeah, so that helps. Anyway, on to the next thing. I have 2 whips. That's it. I didn't start the Hello Kitty hat, which I will be starting hopefully very soon. Hopefully I can wind the yarn today or tomorrow. It's not going to take long to finish it, so I'm not too worried. But I got pretty far. Actually, let's start with this. This is a present for my husband Mark. He already knows about it, so I don't have to tell him not to watch. Unlike my mom, who I'm pretty sure she did watch, even though I told her not to. I told her on Instagram. I think I told her in person, or, you know, on the phone, and I'm pretty sure I said so on the podcast not to watch, but you know, moms. Anyway, that she had shoes or slippers last time, but you can watch that last episode if you really need to see them, because I had to wash them again to felt them again, and so they're drying again. Okay, so this is Barley Sugar by Ysolda Teague, and I'm using Knit Picks Shadow Larch Heather, which is a discontinued, all shadows discontinued, but this is a super old color, I believe, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I didn't get very far, and I have to do like 4 feet, so it's gonna take forever. Like, this was where I was last time, so I'm kind of going in 2-inch increments. It's gonna take a long time to do, and it's not exactly mindless knitting. It is easy knitting, and honestly, that stuff is just kind of boring me right now. Like, I have to have something easy because I have to have my hands doing something at all times. I just have to. But this is not really quite that mindless, so it doesn't happen like in the dark, say, or, you know. Yeah, so I don't know when it's going to get done. It's going to take a while. But right now my brain wants to do like patterns and charts and stuff. Like, I really want to do some fun stuff, and it's fun, but this ain't it. It's not cutting it. So I don't know. It'll get done. It may be 2 inches at a time. So you may see this for a while. And the sucky thing is that it's not going to use much yarn, like not much weight. And I have my challenge is measured in grams, so this isn't going to use many grams. I think maybe 200. Is that right? I don't know. I don't have the tag here. Oh well. Okay, so my next whip, I'm being careful. So while I was setting up, I was watching Buffy, so I have like my tablet over here, and I'm afraid I'm going to start playing Buffy. And Faith is about to lose her mind, so it could be very loud because Faith is Faith. Anyway, I finished the first sock. Oh, it looks so different on the camera. It looks crazy on the camera. These are socks for my friend Mickey, and he has one sock. And I was up until 2:30 last night, and I still didn't finish these, even though that was like, that's what I was, well, that's not what I was doing. I was just not sleeping. But I am one row away from joining the pink and doing decreases. I almost had to finish projects for you today. It's not going to happen. And these aren't going to be much out of the stash either. So, but I don't know. They're fun. And I'm excited for Mickey to have some socks because he totally deserves a pair of socks. I hope that's a compliment. I hope he likes them. He's a pretty cool guy, so I think he will. But anyway, almost there, and they will definitely be finished today, probably, actually. Anyway, don't push play. Okay, so because I don't have a lot to talk about, or a lot of projects to show, and I'm not knitting any other projects, like I don't have anything else on the needles at all. Not even like a scrap blanket or anything. It's kind of weird. Like I used to have a lot of projects on the needles all the time, and now I don't. And I like it better that way, but it is kind of weird. And every now and then I go on like this thing where I'm like, I cast on something new for every day for a week and then see how that goes. Kind of like, what's her name? Angie. I don't remember her podcast name. Oh, I'll put it below, but she starts like a bajillion projects like in January. Like she casts on like a project every single day. Oh, and then works on them all year and then sometimes doesn't finish them at all. And I don't think I can do that. I think that's cool. I think some people could really like thrive in that situation. I can't. So I just like to watch it. Anyway, I'll put her podcast down below. I can't think of it right now. I hope I remember to put it down below because she's lovely and she does some fun things and I kind of live vicariously through her. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to talk about was, well, last time I talked about some projects that I'm going to have going pretty soon, and one was a hat. And I pulled out this yarn today because, yes, I did make this to match. However, when I bought this fabric, I bought yarn, not even this yarn. Oh my gosh, I am so unorganized. Hold on. Oh no. Okay, well, I have an example. When I bought this fabric, I bought some yarn to make like a shawl, something to go with it at Hacer in Santa Fe. I think that's how you say it. I don't know where the yarn is. I know it's in here. It has to be. Anyway, I think it's wolf. I don't even know what it is. Oh, this is a good podcast this week, guys. Let me tell you. Totally prepared. Anyway, this is another color that I got. This is Chickadee Honey, and I think it's not Chickadee. Yeah, it is the Chickadee. So it's Quince & Co. I have Chickadee and I have Finch in this color Honey, and I just love this color, but that's actually not the yarn that I bought to go with this, and I just momentarily forgot. But yeah, so I do that a lot. Like if I know that I'm gonna make something, I don't know. I try to plan outfits. I don't believe in astrology at all, but I'm a Virgo and I am very much a Virgo. Like I like things to be matchy-matchy, to a fault. And yeah, so I have yarn to make something, but I just didn't make it. I made the dress. I didn't make the other stuff that is more fun to do than sewing. Yeah, so that will be on the needle sometime soon. Probably not with this yarn. Oh, I can't believe it. It should be just like right here. Like literally just like right here. I don't know how I can be this unorganized. Like, this is not. Okay. Okay, this is not the quality programming you came here for. Anyway, so that something that will match this dress in this golden color will be on the needles soon. I hope. I don't know. I keep putting things off. Like, I feel like my knitting is for other people, and then when I knit for myself, I feel like I have to knit like scraps because I don't think other people should get scrappy projects for some reason, although Mickey is. But I don't know. I need to just like make a list of actual like, well, okay. I say that. I'm trying to get through some bucket list knits. This was one of them. Feeling pretty good about that. And so I'm going to ride this high. And I'm going to do some more bucket list knits with yarn I want, patterns I want for me. Because that's, I mean, why not, right? Okay. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about were a few of my favorite knitting books, or just books that I've used a lot, books that I think would be useful. So the first one is a classic. It's Elizabeth Zimmermann's Knitter's Almanac. I'm trying to get it without the ring light. Look, it's okay. I'm having too much fun with that. This is like the best, cheapest knitting book you can get. There's not like, pardon me. Oh. Pardon me. Oh no. There's not a whole lot of projects in here. Obviously there's 12. But it's just a joy to read. Like in her. Look, I made a chart. And okay. I don't know. I feel like you learn a lot from knitting. I learned a lot about knitting from Elizabeth Zimmermann. I have like almost all of her books. I think all of them, but I think I gave some to my friend, but it doesn't matter because I feel like I have the patterns that I need from her in my collection. I have the advice that I need from her in my collection. This is one that I would recommend to anybody just to have. It's a good little knitting book, and you can usually find it for super cheap. And yeah, and it's got the February baby sweater, which is really cute. I think it's really cute. Like I've knit that, and I've knit Baby Surprise a lot. And Baby Surprise is really cool knit, but I feel like the February baby sweater is a little, I don't know, just cuter. It's just so cute. Okay, book number 1. Book number 2 is solely for one pattern. I've knit, no, I haven't knit all of them, but I've knit almost all of these. Actually, maybe I have knit all of them. Whimsical Little Knits by Ysolda. I think it's just an ebook now. I have the very first edition that's even autographed. And I have used the heck out of this book because it has Ishbel in it, which is this shawl right here. And I've made countless Ishbels, like 10 Ishbels, maybe more. I didn't bother to look it up, but a lot. I've made, oh, this little mouse pattern is the cutest. It is so cute. It's so easy and fun to do, like the detail work that she puts into these patterns. It's fantastic. I've been an Ysolda fan for, I started knitting in 2002. And probably the next year or the next, I'm not sure. Somewhere in the beginning parts of when I started knitting, I found Craftster, and Ysolda was on Craftster and she made like this doll, and she cut her own hair and put it on this doll. And from that moment on, I was like, this girl is going places. Like, this is a person to watch. And sure enough, she just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I followed her career, like, from very early on. Like, she was still in college and just, you know, not even doing patterns yet, I don't think, when I first came across Ysolda. So this is cool. Like, I think I love this book. I love her. I love her new stuff. Like, she's just an amazing designer. And yeah, this is a good one to have, even if you just have the ebook. I think just for Ishbel. No, there's everything in here is great. So yeah, my daughter had one of these dolls. I don't remember if I've made the baby booties. I've made this blanket. I actually used it all day yesterday. Use it all the time. My cats love it. I don't know if I've made the beret. I know I've made icing swirl, and I've made those booties. Yeah. Anyway, it's a good book. The next one is something I recommend to everybody. Doesn't matter. You need this book. This is Ann Budd's The Knitter's Handy Book of Patterns. This has very basic patterns. Just you figure out your gauge and you plug in what size you want things, like from children's sizes to large adults. Let me see. It's not the hugest size inclusive range, but I mean, like, this is a vest. It goes up to 54 inches. Like, I mean, that's not the biggest, but especially for the time, this was like the only resource you could have. It's just indispensable. Like, I don't think I could knit without this book. I use it all the time. Even just to look at numbers, like if I want to make a pair of mittens, if I'm looking at some other pattern and I'm like, oh, is that going to work? That seems like the stitch count is wrong. I check in here. I get my verification from Ann Budd because she knows the truth. This is like a literal knitting Bible to me. Like, you just can't go wrong with it. It's fantastic. I'll never not have it, ever. I will always have this book. It's fallen apart because I've used it so much. I will order a new one when this one finally bites the dust. I love it so much. And Ann Budd is fantastic. If you make a project using any of her patterns, she comes and she comments on them. Like, she takes time out of her day to make you feel awesome. And I love her, and I think she's fantastic. And I have many of her other books. I have a lot of her other collections that she's edited, even because she knows knitting. She chooses and creates patterns for people who truly enjoy knitting. And I love her. Love this book. This is like my desert island knitting book because, you know, you have to knit. Okay. Do you guys ever have dreams like where you're like, never mind, I won't talk about zombie. This is a zombie apocalypse knitting necessity. So you can outfit the whole survival clan. Okay? That's all you really need to know. You can do everything from this book. I'm gonna have another little drink because I feel a cough coming on. Just water. I don't drink coffee. I know it's like a podcaster thing. You're supposed to be coffee crazy, but I'm not. And I'm shaking a thing. I'm sorry. I apologize. I only have a few more just because I just pulled a few things. I have some Japanese stitch dictionaries, which are great. I have Barbara Walker's, which are great, especially if they have charts in them. If they don't have charts in them, it's a little rough for me, but these, though, I use these a lot. These are Mary Jane Mucklestone's 150 Scandinavian and just Fair Isle motifs. And just to kind of give you, I don't think this is spoiling anything, but I mean, there's just all kinds of like patterns in here, and she gives stitch counts so you can put, or I guess like pattern repeat counts so you can put things in nicely into your whatever. Anyway, I've used them a lot. I think they're fantastic. I like other ones too. I have some Alice Starmore ones that are great and stuff, but I think these are really approachable, and there's a lot of variety, and she really put a lot of work into this, and there's so much information about color work in these as well, and I think that's indispensable to me. Anyway, these are both fantastic books, and I highly recommend them. What else have I got? Just one more, and this one is out of print, and I don't really know why, because I think it's a really good book. It's 100 Knits by Interweave Press, and these are just some patterns that they've collected, like some of their more popular ones, but I mean, not necessarily. Like, there's not a whole lot in here that is like viral. Well, I guess there are some viral patterns in here, but like, there's hats, there's socks, there's shawls, there's a little bit of everything. They're all gorgeous. They're all, like, I love this one. I haven't actually knit this one. It's a Boreal by, I think it's Andrea Rangel. I think that's how you say her name. I'm not sure. I haven't knit that, but that's like actually written down on my list of things to knit. There's just so much in this book. Like, there's what's it called? Coolass. I don't know how to say it really. Cool. It's K. Oh, here, I'll just show you the word. This is my favorite hat pattern ever by Jared Flood. And look at that. It's, everybody I knit this for loves it, especially guys. Like, they love it because it's not just boring. It has some interest, but it's, you know, geometric, and it's not, I don't know. It's lovely. Anyway, so I mean, it's just tons of patterns like that, like just classic, just awesome patterns. I think there's a few, like the shawls in here are fantastic. Like, this is a kind of a popular one. You can see, like, when I started knitting, like, kind of the older patterns still appeal to me. This is this Swallowtail shawl by Evelyn Clark, and I've actually knit this before. I just think, like, I mean, and the rest of this is mostly like sweaters, like, or pullovers. And I mean, they have men's projects, they have women's projects, whatever. You can, unisex, it doesn't matter, like, whatever. It's got a lot in it. It's just a lot of information, a lot of good patterns, not always the best size inclusivity, but some of the later patterns are definitely much better for that. It's just a really good compilation of a lot of patterns, a lot of cool designers. Most of these are newer. They're not all old ones like I showed you, but they're still good. And I just think that this is a good one to have. I think you get a lot for your money. It is discontinued or out of print, but you can get it at thrift books right now for like 30-something bucks. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on, I think it's Abe Books. There's like all kinds of resellers that sell this, and I personally find that that's a pretty good value. There's the number of times I've knit Coolass. I don't know how to say it. I actually knit it from a magazine. This is a new addition to my collection here. But the number of times I've knit that pattern alone, I feel justifies buying it in book form. Like, I've made a lot of them, and I love making them. Anyway, those are just a few books that were kind of just jumping out of the shelves for me to talk to you about. I do have a lot of knitting books. I kind of felt last year, in another bad time, I was spending way too much money, more money than I should have. I was going on thrift books, and I was buying all of the knitting books that I wanted to buy when I did not have the money or the opportunity to buy those books before. And I did a lot of research on Ravelry before, just to see, you know, like, I always do this. If I see a knitting book, I look it up on Ravelry to see, like, what patterns are there, what other people have made, like, looking at other people's projects using that book or pattern or whatever, and really kind of pricing out, like, is this a value to me? Like, am I going to make more than 2 or 3 patterns from this book or collection or whatever? And then I came across this one, which I didn't even know existed, and this like took care of a lot of patterns that I had in other books. And so this coming around made me kind of let go of a lot of other books because they're all in here and I didn't need duplicates. And obviously I didn't do very good research, or I would have just gotten this in the first place. But I did spend a lot of time trying to be economical while I was spending way too much money on thrift books. But anyway, there was a time when like Interweave especially was putting out book after book after book, and I wanted all of them. They were all fantastic, and that was kind of the thing. Like, if you were a new upcoming designer, you got like a book with Interweave. And now, you know, you're in Pom Pom, or, well, not anymore, or I'm gonna say Lane. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but it's just a different like world. I think it's a smaller, more inclusive, however, a much smaller distribution of patterns. Like, I don't know, like, there's only a few designers now. It's not as, that's not true. There's a lot of designers, but as far as getting things out to people, I find it's really hard, especially with like Instagram. I don't see much on Instagram. The algorithm's messed up. I don't see like new patterns coming out by a lot of people. Ravelry, for some reason, isn't what it used to be. I do check new patterns almost every day in Ravelry to see who's coming out with what. But things slip, you know, you don't see them. Whereas I felt like 10, 15 years ago, I don't know, I felt like it was probably easier for people to actually make some sort of a living doing it. And now, like, it's almost impossible to break into that field. But I don't know. That's just kind of a lot of talking. I don't know. I'm glad that there are people who are getting attention that didn't get attention before. I think that's fantastic. I think I wouldn't change that for anything. I just feel like kind of the culture of distributing patterns or information or whatever has come down to people self-promoting, and that's difficult to do, especially if you're doing the work of creating the patterns. Then you have to spend hours and hours online like peddling them, and you know, you're not even guaranteed that people who would actually enjoy your patterns are going to see your patterns. You guys, I'm sure, understand what I'm talking about and why that would be frustrating for a designer. I'm not a designer. I have one pattern on Ravelry, and it will stay probably at one pattern. But I don't know. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this or why I decided to talk about it. So that's all I have. Like, there's really nothing else. It's kind of a slow week. You know, like, it really takes me a long time to get over these shots. And, you know, some other stuff has come up, and I don't know. And then, you know, leading into the holidays, like, we celebrate Christmas, but from a kind of non-religious point of view. Well, our little 3-person family, you know, we kind of do our own thing. Niall actually made up a religion when she was a little girl for like the day after. It's Boxing Day, but whatever. We don't call it that. I forgot the name of the religion, but I'm sure, or not religion, holiday that she created. It's kind of her own thing that she did, and she made a little banner and decorated the kitchen, and I still have that banner up, and it's very dusty and gross, but oh, it was so cute. Anyway, so we kind of do our own thing. I decorate more outside than I do inside, and this year I didn't put much effort into it. I didn't feel like it. And all we have is one of those little ceramic trees from the 70s that my grandma made. We stopped having a Christmas tree last year because it fell apart. And I do live in a pine forest. I could go out and get a tree, but I have cats, and I just don't want to deal with it. Basically, I mean, why am I talking about this? don't know. Anyway, so things are gonna get busy. We've got some concerts and things like that lined up. So maybe I'll get to you next week. Maybe I won't. Definitely before Christmas I'll check in, and because you need, oh God. Nobody's depending on me making a podcast. I realize that. I don't know why I'm saying this stuff. I think I need to talk to an adult today and not just myself or the camera. I think that would be beneficial because I think I might be losing my mind. Okay. Well, I'm going to go finish these socks and maybe cast on well, definitely I will wind some yarn today. That's what I will do. That's my goal. Wind yarn, finish these socks, and make soup. That's a good day. Anyway, I wish you the best. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for putting up with my rambling. And if you're still here, I just really appreciate you. And I hope you are having everything. I don't know. I just want the world for you. And I love you. And you're fantastic. And thank you. And yeah, that's it. Love you guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.